It's Rebecca here on Mindstone, just checking in and continuing our topic, which is our daily action. So, last week we talked about the limiting beliefs that keep us from making the changes we would like to make in order to improve ourselves and our lives. So, this has actually been a pretty anxious week for me. Um, like anyone that has this condition, we all have our good days, our bad days, our good weeks, and our bad weeks. And one of the things that I intend to do with this Mind Stone is to really take notice and be aware of what makes my days good and what makes my days bad. What triggers my anxiety and what doesn't trigger my anxiety. What makes it a good day and what makes it a bad day. So I can share that information with you guys. So in this video, and again, please subscribe if you are struggling with anxiety, depression, or bipolar disorder. I put out videos every Monday and Thursday evening. We tackle things like self-care, self-esteem, coping with anxiety, coping with negative thinking, pretty much anything with regards to coping with anxiety and depression. So make sure you subscribe to that. So today we're going to be continuing on with our daily action. Today I will be teaching you how to cope with a particularly anxious day and still manage to be productive. So, one of the things that I noticed about being anxious and how I start my day is that, generally speaking, on my bad days, I tend to actually stay in bed in the morning and wake up really late. I notice that this affects my mood tenfold. It's the days that I rise early and make time for myself in the morning that my mood is actually a lot better and I tend to be a lot more productive during that day. So, my first tip for this video is rise early. So, this means that you definitely want to go to bed early enough and take your meds early enough that you can actually wake up at a decent time. Anything more than 8 hours and you're going to feel sluggish, anything less than 8 hours, and you'll feel tired. So 8 hours, 8 to 9 hours should be your goal. So make sure that you time that effectively. Again, in my other video with self-care, we talk about sleep hygiene and how important that is for your mood and your productivity. So let's dive in. Another thing that I wanted to mention, so there's 5 steps. So 5 steps. First step is to plan. So a lot of us that deal with anxiety, we tend to have a lot of the stuff kind of swimming in our heads. We're always thinking about everything that we need to get done, and it kind of goes into our heads over and over and over again like a broken record. So we're constantly obsessing over what we need to do. We're constantly criticizing ourselves. And eventually all that mental work just makes us tired and discouraged and unmotivated. So step number 1 is plan. So write everything that you need to get done for the next day and put it in your calendar. Some people like to use a print calendar. I like to use both. So I'll use my planner as well as the calendar on my phone and then just time block those activities that you would like to do. This way it's actually on a device and not in your head. So that way it really helps to cope with your anxiety because it's really out of your head and actually on paper. The next step is, of course, one at a time. So once you actually wake up, you've already woken up early, you've given yourself time to actually eat breakfast, have some time to yourself, do some meditation, go over your gratitudes, which I talk about in my last video, how important it is to do your gratitudes every morning to keep your vibe up. So the second tip is, of course, one at a time. So go over your calendar and don't skip ahead. And anxious people have a way of feeling and thinking things out way in advance. So we're, already 5 steps ahead of ourselves, and it can be extremely exhausting. So the first tip is definitely to tackle things one at a time. And so once you're actually in that one activity, the first activity of your day, be present in that activity. So this is definitely related to our mindfulness, which I'll be tackling in our next video. We will be looking at mindfulness and how to be mindful. But as an anxious person, I know that when I'm focusing on way too many things and I'm focusing too far ahead, in my day, I go into that rabbit hole of anxiety, and is too much mental work and it shuts me down almost immediately. So the step 2 is definitely one thing at a time. Step 3 is be present. So be present in the activity that you're doing. If you're taking a yoga class in the morning, be sure that when you are in that yoga class, you're putting your full attention and your full effort and full energy on that yoga class. Everything else does not exist. What happens after doesn't exist, and what happened before doesn't exist. It has to be something in the present. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is move slow. So when you are planning your day the day before, make sure that you're giving yourself breathing room. Oftentimes, especially if you're bipolar, we have an idea where we constantly want to pack our schedule with as many things as possible so that we can feel productive and accomplished when we've tackled them all. So there's a problem with this. When we make our schedule super jam-packed, it naturally causes anxiety with ourselves. Putting things too close together means that we're rushing. And any time that we're rushing, especially when we're anxious, you can actually, like for me, it actually causes panic attacks where I feel way too much pressure. I'm feeling way too rushed. And I'm not going to get anything done because my anxiety will completely overcome me. So my next step is definitely move slow. Go through each activity with full mindfulness and make sure that you're really moving slow. You're going through your day at a steady pace. It's not a race. Give yourself time to breathe. And like I said, move slowly and mindfully. Okay, so think about that. As we talk about in Mindstone, think about going on a wall. We don't run up walls. We go and we do steady steps, one at a time, very carefully, very mindfully. So definitely move slow. And finally, don't stop. If you find that you're getting momentum, we talked about how motion causes motion in our last video of daily action, which I'll give you a link to right away. Our final step is definitely don't stop. So if you find that you're having a great day, and you're getting a lot of things done, use that momentum because you never know when you'll get it again. And a lot of times, if you're looking to work towards your goals, capitalize on those days that are going well. So that way you can still be close to your goal, even if you have a bad day the next day. And this will help with your self-compassion as well. Knowing that you've had a really great day the day before and you appreciate yourself with that. And we talk about appreciation notes, which really help keep your self-esteem and your vibe high. So that's in my other video. I'll link that as well with regards to self-appreciation. So definitely capitalize on your good days. If you see that you're getting that momentum, just don't stop. Keep going until, of course, you feel tired and you're feeling overwhelmed. Then definitely take a break. But if you are having a good day, keep it going. And then at the end of the day, reward yourself, right? So that's our final step, is rewarding yourself. Reward yourself with something, with a fun activity. Reward yourself with something that makes you feel good, that lights you up. And really take care of yourself at the end of the day and give yourself a pat on the back and write it down how happy you are for having that amazing day. So like I said, if you do have, changes in your mood, which we all do with this condition, you can still feel really good that you've actually did a lot of progress in that one day. So like I said, so the first step is plan. Second step is be present and take things one activity at a time. Move slow, don't stop, and reward yourself. So that's the step-by-step process of surviving a day filled with anxiety like I've had before in this week. So surviving an anxiety-filled day and still be productive. So definitely take it slow, take it mindfully, love yourself, love your life. And again, thank you very much for joining me on Mindstone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Thank you so much for joining and have an amazing